All right, so we have a big issue going down in the car market right now, causing a lot of dealerships to basically not be able to sell cars. They're, for the most part, just closed. This is affecting 50% of the dealerships across the US. So, what's happening at these auctions is there's a big weakness there. So, guess what? I'm a used car dealer. I'm going in, I'm buying more cars right now. And over this last week, we've been able to buy quite a few more than what we've been used to buying, is because dealers are not showing up. They're not there. They're not there to raise their hand. So we're able to go in and buy some cars. So later on in this video, I'm going to show you what cars we've bought, how much we paid, and also talk to you about really what we're going to sell them for, give you that level of transparency, and show you all the ins and outs of what I'm dealing with right now as it concerns to all of these shutdowns that are going through from this big cyber attack that's going through the car market. But let's get into that real quick. This is from Automotive News. CDK, which is a massive DMS, a dealer management software company for a majority of the car market, has been attacked, cyber attacks. And what they're saying is that the DMS software, the outage won't be resolved before June 30th. And the big thing about this announcement that they made is that they said to their dealers, okay, don't expect it to be back online before June 30th. It doesn't say it's going to be ready to go on June 30th. It says don't expect it to be happening anytime before June 30th. So this could be a problem that not only lasts, okay, now it's lasted the last week and a half. This could be a problem that the car market is dealing with over the next couple months. And even if they get the software back online by, let's say, the 1st of July, the after effects are going to have a big time. There's going to be some big time problems with the after effects that are coming from this software being shut down. Right now, there's a lot of dealerships that are losing tons and tons and tons of sales because they're not able to actually get their online leads. We talked to a salesperson yesterday who was affected by this software, the problem, this cyber attack that's going down, and they said that they had to handwrite every single deal that came through their actual dealership. So here's another big problem is all these internet leads where a lot of people shop right now. They go to the internet, they go to the little chat system to actually get some numbers. They'll try to find out about a vehicle if it's even available anymore. All of that is completely down right now. So the salesperson said the biggest weakness that their dealership is facing is not having access to any of these online leads, and that's where a lot of customers actually originate from, right? So a lot of people they shop online, they look for cars online, they talk to dealerships online, they email back and forth. None of that's happening right now. So let's pull this up too and said in June, the U.S. auto sales could take a significant hit from the CDK outage. So one of the big things that I want to really lean into and talk to you about is that the amount of sales that they're losing is going to affect a lot of these dealerships' bottom lines for the month. So the way a lot of dealerships actually make money, the new franchise dealerships, is they make a lot of money from their manufacturers. And the way that they make money from their manufacturers is getting checks from these manufacturers from actually hitting their sales goals. So you take like a dealership like a Honda dealer, and if they need to sell 100 or 200 Honda Civics in a given month, then that manufacturer might actually cut them a check for $150,000, $200,000 for hitting their sales goals. So if you have a dealership that has lost now 25% of their sellable days in a month, that could mean the difference between them getting that $200,000 check or not getting that $200,000 check. So if you go to one of these dealerships, they might be really aggressive to actually get some of these cars moved. What I would warn against, though, is if I'm a buyer, I am probably not trying to go buy a car right now from one of these dealers that is affected. And the reason being is because mistakes happen. And I don't want to get caught up. Yeah, you're going to get a better deal from a dealership that is trying to make their sales goals, that is trying to move out cars really quickly. But I would worry about the title work that's actually happening right now from salespeople actually handwriting deals. Um, so recently, my wife and I we bought a brand new van from a dealership, and even then, when they had all the software was up, it was running, it was fine. They literally sold us the wrong van. Like we went home with it, and they called us and said, "Oh, well, we need you to come back and re-sign this paperwork so we can get the right van sold to you." Because they gave us the complete different VIN, everything like that. They sold it to us. So mistakes happen even with the software being where it's at. So you can only imagine what kind of issues they're going to have to deal with if they're handwriting each one of these sales. There are going to be a lot of mistakes happen. I would hate to buy a car and then that title never get to me because they do something wrong on an address. They do put some kind of information. Mistakes are going to happen. That's the biggest thing I'm trying to tell you. So I would, if I were a consumer right now going to buy a new car, I would not want to buy one from one of these dealerships that's affected right now. I mean, you can imagine how long the paperwork is right now. Think about how long you're going to be in there. I would love if anyone's bought a vehicle that's in the chat right now, put it in there and just let me know how long it has taken one of these salespeople to handwrite your deal. I'd be very curious about that. But anyway, this is going to have some long lasting effects in the car market because you're going to have dealerships that are going to have to play catch up over the next month, 2 months, just because they're going to be so far behind on their sales and what they need to do. So the next thing that we've seen is that CDK released that they have been able to get a small initial test group of dealers back onto their dealer management software. And this is just 1 week after the initial attacks happened. So we haven't seen that CDK has released any reports that they did pay these cyber attackers to get their basically their keys back, their software back to where they can use it. But it's an assumption across the industry that CDK had to pay these cyber attackers millions and millions and millions of dollars to be able to get this information back. Now it was supposedly under from an organization that they have a certain code amongst cyber attackers. I don't even know what that means, but whenever they do get their ransom, they do get the payment. They are supposed to turn over everything. There was a broker that was involved to negotiate the release of this data back to CDK. It's ridiculous that that's even a job. Like there is a job of a person who goes in and negotiates from the victim, which is CDK, to the cyber attackers. There's a job for that, a negotiator, to get the amount of money that they need to pay to get their data back. Crazy to think about, but that's actually a thing that happened, and this is what is happening in this day and age, where you have these organizations, these cyber attackers that are getting paid lots and lots of money because they're stealing all of this data. And CDK just wasn't prepared for any of this. A lot of times we talk about software in the car market and how it's 10 years, 20 years behind where everything should be. And this is where it comes to really bite the car market in the butt. I want to pull up this, and it says CDK begins DMS restoration with reboot test after cyber attacks amid sales disruption and litigation. Another thing that's coming out of all this is there's going to be a lot of lawsuits. So you're going to have dealership groups, you're going to have repair shops that are going to sue CDK because they were not prepared for this. They didn't spend the money, they didn't spend the time, they didn't have the things put in place to actually protect them to not have to deal with this attack. So you're going to have a lot of lawsuits come from that. Too, if there was any customer information that was lost, that was sold because of this, you could have some consumers suing dealerships, and then those dealerships suing CDK for being susceptible to this. So there's going to be it's going to get really ugly, and it's going to affect the car market for a very long time. But let's talk about how it's going to affect me as a small used car dealer and me buying these cars at auctions. So, Alex, who is my mechanic, he goes to auctions for me and buys a lot of cars. He went this past Tuesday, and he said that there were almost no dealers there to buy cars. And the used car dealer space, it was not affected anywhere close to as much as the franchise dealer, the new car space was. But there's a weakness already in the market. And then you're going to have this scare from new car dealers not being able to sell cars over a week, week and a half. That's a huge amount of time for these dealers not to be able to move cars. And two, they're not going to be able to get trade in. So there's going to be one of two scenarios that happens as far as the wholesale side goes. One, we're either going to have a big weakness over the next 2 weeks from just no trade-ins coming into auction. We haven't seen that yet, but the after effect will be next week, and I'll definitely report on that next week. But that could cause, ironically, with the weakness that's going on, it ironically could cause a spike in wholesale prices just because there won't be any fresh trade-ins that come into the market for a week or 2 weeks. I don't think that's going to be the case because I think with the used car market being as weak as it is right now, and it's harder for a lot of these dealers to sell cars, I think it's going to be really what we saw over the last 2 days, is that a lot of dealers just aren't going to show up at these auctions. It's traditionally right now a slow time for used car dealers right now. Middle of summer, people are on vacation, whatever. Car sales are very slow. So right now, prices tend to drop in the used car market. Just because of element of the seasonality of how used cars go up and down throughout the year. Right now is a downtime for us. So this is a time where we jump in and try to buy a lot of cars. But what I have heard is that dealers are, they're staying away from, they're not trying to buy anything. They're not trying to move right now because they're worried about the after effects of what this cyber attack's going to do. And it's going to be something that really stays in the car market, I'll see, for the next month, 2 months, and I'm very curious to see where it goes. My prediction would be that things keep going down, and maybe that the scare of this cyber attack from the used car side, at least, and how it's affecting me, is going to be greater than the actual effects of inventory problems, because we do still have dealerships out there. They say that they're still moving cars. It's just taking a lot of time, and they're having to handwrite everything. There's going to be mistakes, and then you are going to have some loss of sales from all your internet situations. Another reason, another big thing that how it's affecting me is parts. So I have a 2022 Honda Civic that we bought a few weeks ago. We just got the title in for it, so it needs a front bumper. And the body shop that I'm using is a buddy of mine. He orders parts directly from these dealerships, from the OEMs, and the Honda dealership that he uses that he would get this bumper from, their parts department is completely shut down. Like, they can't order anything. They can't receive any of these new parts. They can't even do any kind of inventory management kind of things. So he can't get that bumper from them. So I have to literally just wait. And there's going to be a lot of other used car dealers that are in the same situation. You're going to have a lot of new car dealers that sell used cars that have need OEM parts to be able to fix their cars, to be able to get them ready to sell. They're standing still right now because they can't get these parts. So what's going to happen on that front is your parts are probably going to go up quite a bit over the next month and a half or so, just because whenever parts are able to be ordered, there's going to be a big backlog. I mean, a week and a half, if they're back online next week. But a week and a half, 2 weeks is a massive amount of time for service to be shut down. You think about it, it's not just used car dealers. It's the service centers in the franchise dealer space. You're looking at just general mechanic shops that need OEM parts. They're on backlog. Their customers are literally parking their cars at these mechanic shops waiting for parts. There's going to be a massive free for all to try to get parts when systems come back online. So that's going to affect things for the foreseeable future. All this we're going to pay attention to and keep you up to date on. But I want to get to the cars that we've bought in the last week or so. So just keep in mind, all these cars, we're going to have buyer fees on top of them. So I'm going to tell you what we paid at auction, but on top of that, there's going to be anywhere from like $200 to a $300 buyer fee on each one of these. But just to show like what we're paying right now, and I can tell you pretty much what we're going to sell them for. But the overarching message that I'm really getting from what we're able to buy here lately is that the car market, especially the wholesale values, are going down in a big way. A lot of these cars that we haven't been able to buy in the last 6 months to 12 months, we're now able to buy them and then sell them for my niche, which is $5,000 and under. So we're actually whereas the most of the car market right now, most car dealers, they're actually losing inventory at these used car dealer auctions because trade-ins aren't coming down. We're gaining a lot more vehicles that we're able to buy at these auctions because prices are down. See, our niche was $5,000 and under, so we only had this level of cars that we were able to buy. And there was this whole nother level of car that we weren't able to touch because it was more expensive than we could sell to our consumer, which is that $5,000 and under range. But now, since prices are coming down, then we're able to actually inherit a lot of that piece of pie in these mid-tier cars that are coming down into our range now. So we're actually gaining a lot more vehicles that we're able to look at, we're able to buy, we're able to sell right now. So this first one's a good example. A 2012 Subaru Outback. We would have never been able to buy that 6 months ago at the price that we'd be able to sell for under $5,000, and we paid $2,400 for it. That's probably going to be a $4,000 car on our lot. I just looked at it right before I walked in here. Very nice looking car. We haven't been able to buy stuff like that, but now we can because the car market is coming down more and more and more each and every month. 2011 Nissan Versa. We paid $1,200 for it. And just to give you an example of a buyer fee, like we paid $1,200 for that Nissan Versa. The buyer fee on it's $215. So we got $1,415 in it so far. We'll have detail in it. We'll have transport. We'll have inspection if there's nothing wrong with it, and we'll probably have to do a little bit of something to it. But just so you know where the buyer fee looks like. And then on Subaru, we paid $2,400 for it, and the buyer fee is $285. So we got $2,685 in it as of right now, as long as we don't have to do anything to it. Bought a 2012 Ford Focus. That was only got 150,000 miles, and we paid $1,600 for it. So 2012 Ford Focus, 150,000 miles. We paid $1,600 for it. It'll be a $3,000 car on our lot. Bought a 2013 Honda Pilot. We sell Honda Pilots almost as soon as we get them. So we try to buy them as much as we can. We paid $2,500 for it. It'll be probably a $4,000 car for us. 2017 Chevy Malibu. I'm laughing because this is just stuff we haven't been able to buy, and stuff falls through the cracks. A 2017 Chevy Malibu. Alex paid $1,300 for it. That's insane. See, stuff in the last 6 months did not fall through the cracks, and now stuff like this. A 2017 Malibu we're able to pay for $1,300. That's insane. It'll be a $3,000 car. A 2013 Kia Soul. We paid $2,500 for it. $4,000 car. A 2002 Pontiac Grand Am. This has Alex's name all over. I would not have bought this car, but Alex did. He paid looks like $1,800 for it. It'll be. I mean, those things are ugly. I can't imagine selling it for more than $3,000. But maybe there's a customer out there for it. I don't know. I don't like them. A 2004 Toyota Camry. He paid $1,200 for it. It'll be a $3,000 car. A 2011 Dodge Nitro. He paid $2,200 for it. $3,500, $4,000 car. 2008 Toyota Camry. Again, we haven't been able to buy a whole lot of Camrys in the last 6 months, year. Now we're buying quite a few of them. They're my favorite cars to buy because especially the 4 cylinders, these things are bulletproof. 2008 Camry. He paid $2,700 for it. Looks like it'll be a $4,000 car easy. 2008 Ford Explorer. That one's got 150,000 miles. Also, it's got he paid, looks like $1,800 for it. That'll be a $3,500 car, and a 2015 Kia Soul. Again, $1,800. It'll be a $3,000 or a $3,500 car for us. Things are they're looking up for us as a small used car dealer in the niche that we are. And it's just a factor of car prices going down, and we're not trying to gouge people so we can hit that $1,000 to $1,500 per car. Mark them up a little bit, move them on. That's what we try to do. We try to do volume game here at my dealership. So as long as a lot of these dealers, they're hurting because they're trying to make $2,500, $4,000, $5,000 on a car. It's difficult to do, especially on these cheap cars. Like you got to do volume. You got to roll them, make $1,000, $1,200 on the more expensive cars. I get it. But there's a lot of dealers that are even in my niche, and they still try to make $2,000, $3,000 per car. It's just hard to do. And on top of that, they have floor plans, which they have credit lines that they have to use. So this is why a lot of dealers talk about they're struggling. I mean, if you're not selling cars for fair prices, that's what happens. Let's do a couple questions from chat. Do you think they will play catch up now and write killer deals? So they're talking about the dealerships that are hurt by this DMS cyber attack. So what I think is going to happen is if you have a dealership that's on the cusp of hitting their numbers right at the end of this month, and there's going to be more of them out there, I think those are the dealers that are going to be able to, they're going to give away cars. They're going to take losses on some of their cars just so they can make the numbers to get their check from the manufacturer. The problem is you're not going to know which dealers those are. So if you are looking to buy a car and you are willing to take the gamble on having them handwrite your paperwork, then you could choose at the last 2 days of this month. You can go to pick 3 different dealerships. Go ask them if their software's down, and the ones that do have their software down, check both of them. Say, look, I'm buying a car today. I'm buying a car tomorrow, and I'm just trying to find the best deal. I think I can get X amount off this car. Find a really good deal. What you think that you could possibly get. Now, they're not going to take 30% off of the car for you. You have to be realistic when you're going in and asking for a good deal from a lot of these dealerships. But if you give them something reasonable and they're actually wanting to try to make their numbers and they're close, yeah, you're going to get pretty much what you asked for. But you're not going to know where they are with their numbers. But there's I know I got a buddy, Tommy from Delivered, who is he's a car broker. He's a car consultant. Let me get it that way. He said that the end of this month is going to be one of the best times that you could ever buy a car because there's going to be dealerships that are so pinched. I'm honestly, I'm not sure. I think that there's going to be some dealerships that are really pinched and some that aren't. But you're going to have to find the ones that are really pinched, and that takes a lot of legwork. So if you want to do the work, then you probably could find one that is pinched. So we'll answer this one right here. I want to buy a new car. When should I buy it? The longer you wait, the better prices are going to get. If you're buying a new car, you typically want to wait to the end of the month to go in there and negotiate for one. But for me, looking at this market, I think that we're still in a downtrend. I think now you can definitely go buy a car. You can get money off of MSRP. With me saying that I think you should wait, I literally just bought a new car recently, and we got 10% off of MSRP. So I can say that if you don't want to wait anymore, you can absolutely go try to buy one, and you do not have to pay market adjustments. You do not have to pay market add-ons anymore. And this is why I'm giving you my what's the word? You're getting my grace to go buy a car. That's not the right word. Anyway, you have my permission to go try to poke these dealers now, to go try to find a car, because you no longer have to pay the add-ons. You no longer have to pay any of these market adjustments, and you can buy cars under MSRP right now. So if you're tired of waiting, you can go try. I would rather you pay cash for a car too. So make sure you can buy a car that you can actually afford. That's another big tip for this too. But with saying all that, the longer you wait, the better the deals I think are you're going to get. But I feel like you can go out and buy a car right now and not get gouged if you do your research, if you know how much you should pay for a car, and you know how to negotiate it. So that's the keys. So if you think you can do all those three things, I'm fine with you going looking and poking around. But if you want a better deal, the longer you wait, the better it's going to be. But thank you for watching this video. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and like it, comment, do all the things.